Hey everyone, Harris here with iDownload Blog. So iOS 12 is just a couple weeks away, at least in beta form with WWDC 2018. I was pointing at my calendar if you couldn't tell. That's going to be in early June, as it often is, and with it we're going to be announcing the next year of software, whether it comes quickly or not, and whether the features take that whole year to get to us or not, like we saw with iOS 11 and some of the features. That remains to be seen, but for now we're going to take a look at some features that I want and some people are wanting, and some things that we might be expecting to see and hoping to see at the very least with iOS 12. Okay, so for one would be expanding NFC on the iPhone. So currently it's really just used for payment. Apple Pay is the sole purpose for NFC. It'd be awesome to start being able to see NFC to use with more technology around the home and hotels for unlocking doors and taking care of things like that. It'd be really awesome to see NFC be expanded on with iPhones, because it's definitely a feature that can be added and it's software limited on the iPhone. Secondly would be a FaceTime overhaul. So FaceTime's an awesome application, obviously, and people use it all the time for video as well as audio calls. But what if they overhauled it to make it more like the House Party app, where you could have group calls? I know a lot of people are wanting that. You can have group calls over phone, but you can't do it over FaceTime. So Apple added group FaceTime calls. That would be really cool. And that would be something that would definitely be used a lot, and it would prevent people from using third-party apps. They'd be using Apple services instead, so that would be, conceivably a win-win. More dark modes. So not everybody likes dark modes. I'm kind of 50-50 with them. I turn them on and off, but if there's a general dark mode for using at night, on top of just night mode, which kind of warms up the color temperatures to ease your eyes and lowering the brightness, if there was also a dark mode, that would just help in general at night with less strain on the eyes. A lot of people would be able to use this and like this. Like I said, I'm kind of 50-50 on whether I use dark mode or not, but for the people that do use dark mode, that would be very helpful. Some more OS customizations is something that we are always looking for and would always be excited to see. Not too long ago, we got Control Center controls, which was a cool step in the right direction. If we get some more customization controls for colors, for apps, for arrangements, for widgets, stuff like that, that would be awesome to see. Not making it more like Android, but just letting us customize it a little bit more without taking away the feel of iOS. That would be really cool to see some customization options to be able to customize our phones a little bit more. Okay, next would be a big pet peeve for me in iOS, and is the volume controls. It's so intrusive and bulky and cumbersome and annoying, and when I jailbreak, one of the first things I always change is that. The volume bars should not be a big block that takes up the center of your screen. It should be something small and unintrusive, something that's so easy to see, something at the top probably. All you really need is just a bar, because people can tell what that bar means when you're changing your volume. Sometimes it even has that in the middle bar, and then it'll also have the volume bar up top depending on what app you're in. So it shows you two different volume icons, and that's just, the heads-up display is awful for volume, and I would love to see that be redesigned, be less obtrusive and ugly. I don't know why it even is like that at this point, because you're trying to watch a video and you're changing the volume, and you have to wait a few seconds. It's just awful. So redesign volume heads-up display would be awesome. I think Apple is going to do that because they realize how obtrusive it is. Okay, another big one, if you ever change your camera settings, like if you're wanting to go from 4K to 1080p because you're just shooting a video that you want to share with your mom and you don't need to use all that file space or whatever it may be, it takes a little bit of time. You have to dig through some menus, and sometimes it takes a few seconds and you miss the shot. The ability to change that in the camera app would be ideal, would be awesome, and I'm hoping that Apple gives us that option this year to quickly tap and change the settings for camera, for video, for photos, to get that quicker and easier and to not make it a burden when we're just trying to get the shot. Okay, a music redesign would be nice. I don't like the way Apple Music looks. I really don't, or just the music app in general. I think Spotify looks much cleaner and nicer, again with the dark theme, but that's, additional. But I would love to see Apple Music be redesigned. I'm not a fan of how it looks. In general, I think that there are some artist render concepts that look much nicer than how Apple Music and the music app is right now on the iPhone and the iPad. I think Apple definitely has room for improvement, and hopefully they will do that this year with iOS 12. It would also be cool to have better search in messages. I often am looking for a message that someone sent or a password or something like that, and I can search, but there's just not a clear-cut way to go through a conversation and find what you're searching for. Sometimes it gives you what you're looking for, sometimes it doesn't, and it's hard to search through a single conversation for multiple keywords by scrolling through. So something with a more advanced and maybe a filtered feed on messages search like you have on Mail, that would be really cool, and I think that would be a really nice feature to see on iOS 12, just more advanced search on messages. Siri is definitely due for some advancements, just in general, speed, functionality, usability, answering more questions. There's so much Siri can do that would be improved. there's no way Apple isn't going to improve Siri on iOS 12. It's just a matter of how much. So I'm really hoping that they do something big there, kind of to catch up with Google and even really just come the smart speakers out there. That's all part of this. And I think Apple will definitely take steps with iOS 12 to fix Siri, make her smarter, give her more features, build her into more apps, make her more accessible for developers. There's no way they aren't, because that's huge right now in AI and everything that has to do with the smart speaker, smart assistant, artificial intelligence, everything to do with that. Siri is bound to be better with this update. And then multi-app support or split screen. We now have 2 iPhones with over 5-inch screens and perhaps more models than that this year. Really, it's about time that we have multi-app support. It's really annoying when you're trying to use the calculator and also look at a text or an email to try to do it at the same time. Granted, multitasking is really good on the iPhone now, on the iPhone 10, but split screen support would be awesome. I think Apple is, well, I think it's time that Apple bakes that into iOS 12. And finally, an always-on display for the iPhone 10 is definitely something that they could do. It has an OLED display, so they can do that, and I think that'd be a really cool feature to add to the iPhone 10 with iOS 12. It would just give it another perk to get it. That extra feature over the other iPhones would be really cool, and I hope that iOS 12 brings that. Anyway, comment what you hope will change and comment what you think will change with iOS 12, any new features or things that you think really need to be improved. Let us know down in the comments. You can also check out idownloadblog.com to see the written side of this. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more iOS 12 content.